Alright, so now you have a basic understanding of the shapes, how to move them, and change their anchor points and sort of customize them. Let's talk really quickly about color and also how to change your lines. I did mention briefly about changing your lines in this last video, so let's look back at it and get a little bit more in depth with it. To change the width of your lines, up here you can go to your stroke menu and you can see it's defaulted at 1. If you go to the drop down, you're going to have a lot of options. I'll just go to an extreme so you can see it. You can also have it open up here in the palettes, which I haven't talked too much about. We've been talking about the toolbar for the most part, but these are your palettes. And everything that's over here in your palettes are going to be located up here in your windows. So right now, gradient's sort of on top of my stroke right here. So if your stroke's already out, you can click on that. If it's not, you can go up here to Window and go ahead and activate Stroke, and it's going to pop it up to the top. Some of you, and I'm just going to hide that, some of you, when yours pops up, it's going to look like this. If you want to see your other options, click on that little drop-down menu, Show Options, and then you're going to have everything at your arsenal. So again, it's at that 20. Maybe I want to take it down to 10. Maybe it wants to be dashed. I just click that box and turn it into dashed. Right now it's set to a uniform profile. We can change the width profiles if we want. I'll deselect so you can see it sort of does thin, thick, thin. So you will have the ability to manipulate this further as well. To change the color, you can change it in a couple places. Up here you're seeing the selection, it's the rectangle, it has a white fill and a black outline. If I want this outline to be hot pink, I'm just going to hold one time on that, click on that hot pink, and you can see it's going to change it there, or baby blue, or the oranges, or what have you, or a weird puce color. I'll leave it pink so that you have some sort of contrast with it. So your drop-down menu here is going to change the stroke. You can change the stroke here also, and remember, this is similar to how in Photoshop we had foreground and background, but we're going to have fill and we're going to have stroke. Whichever is on top is the active one to be changed. So right now, you see this rectangle on top, that's your stroke, so your stroke is going to change. So if I double-click that, and I want it to be that weird green again, I'm going to hit OK, and we get that weird sort of green. If I want to change the color of the inside from white, I'm going to click one time, and you see how right now those sort of switched. So now this square's on top. That one means you're going to be changing your fill. Double click on that, choose a color, and then you're going to have it dumped in from there. And you can also use the drop down up here at the top. That works as well. You will also have swatches. If your swatches aren't activated, again, Window, Swatches, make sure you have it up. Same thing, the functions, is how we were having down here at the bottom left. If I want it to be a yellow fill with a red outline, don't do that color combination for the most part unless you're working for a restaurant fast food chain, because it's a really weird color combo. We'll talk about that when we get to color in class. This gives you the same maneuverability. So you have the ability to change it in swatches. You can actually change it within color also, so whichever is your active field. You can use the eyedropper and get it this way. There is color guides, which we're going to get to more later, so if you want to experiment with that now, but we're going to get more in depth with that later. So you can see right now we're seeing tints and shades, so it's giving us the tints and the shades of whatever color is active, so that you can, work within a color scheme. With our logo project that's coming up, we will delve into color schemes, so don't quite put too much worry on that right now, but just know it exists. So we have color guides, color swatches, we can change from up here, and we can change on the left. And if you are just like, oh, this is not working, go ahead, change to your default fill and stroke, and it will reset whatever you were working on, and it gives you a sort of blank slate. So always keep that in mind. If you wanted, and I'm just going to do an option drag, and that does our duplicate. And I'm going to put green on this one, And for now, I'm going to just put yellow. So you're going to get this sort of stacking, layering look. There is one more fill that we haven't dealt with until just now, as my mouse freezes. When we select this top one, maybe we just want the background green and then just the outline of this box. The one fill that has a red sort of line through it, this one is the none. So when you click on that, there is actually no fill to that right now. So that is also an option for when you're working. As well, under your lines, you have the basic setting right now, which is right here. You can change it to have the sort of charcoal look. We have a sort of border here, a little fan brush. So there are some default settings under there and some options as well. That would be akin to in Photoshop when you had your Photoshop brushes and you could customize it. So think of it as it like that. It's like an extra border around whatever it is you're working for. We also saw the profile for uniform here. It's also up here, so you can change your widths here as well also, which at one point you're not going to really be able to see anything. So let's bump it up to 10, and then you can see that profile. So if you're trying to add emphasis to one of your boxes, this is actually a really nice way to get that. There are other ways as well, and I'm going to hit my Apple Zero so that it resets it, but this is a good way to just start. So I would recommend for the colors, try each of the areas, whether it be under the menus, whether it be on the tools on the left or on the palettes on the right. Try each of them and see which one feels more comfortable and innate for you. Because remember, whenever you're starting out in the early design world, part of our job is to figure out what system of working works best to you so that whenever you're out in the field, you have the most efficient system possible for your time management. So for this, experiment with each of them and see which one works best for you.